G'day. What is Buddhism? There are around 350 million Buddhists in the world today, including a growing number of Westerners. Buddhism gradually became popular in India during the 4th century BC, before spreading slowly to other countries in the Far East, northward into Nepal, Bhutan, Tibet, China, Mongolia and Japan, and southward into Thailand, Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos and Indonesia. Many forms of Buddhism have developed in these places over the centuries, and they vary according to the culture and customs of each country. However, the Buddha's basic teachings remain the same wherever Buddhism is practiced. The most important ideas include believing in non-violence, being understanding about and tolerant of differences, and having a strong sense of compassion. The Buddha taught that we have to understand the nature of life before we can improve our own lives and become happier, so he formulated the Four Noble Truths. These give guidelines for developing ourselves and encourage everyone to strive for enlightenment, a state he believed could be achieved by all human beings. They are Four Noble Truths. 1. Suffering, or struggling, is a part of everyone's life. 2. The cause of our suffering is our own greedy mind, which constantly wants more and better. 3. Suffering can be overcome. 4. We can overcome suffering by following the steps of the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path involves 1. Developing a deep understanding of the Four Noble Truths to inspire us to engage with the rest of the path. 2. Making a commitment to self-improvement. 3. Speaking in a kind and truthful manner. 4. Developing right action through behaving with compassion towards others. 5. Earning a living without harming any being. 6. Banishing negative thoughts to conquer ignorance and desires. 7. Encouraging wholesome thoughts, because all that we say and do arises from our thoughts. 8. Developing and strengthening the depth of our concentration. Another set of training principles, known as the 5 Precepts, encourage us to take more responsibility for our actions. They are 1. I resolve not to take life. 2. I resolve not to steal. 3. I resolve not to mistreat others. 4. I resolve not to tell lies. And 5. I resolve not to indulge in excess. As you will see when you read the stories in this book, a central theme of Buddhism is that every action we take, every word we say, and even every thought we have has a consequence. They all affect not only other people but also ourselves. The Buddha called this notion karma. We reap what we sow. This means that we need to apply thought and make wise decisions in everything we say and do, because anything unkind will come back to us. And since Buddhists believe in rebirth, that we may live many lives, actions in one life are likely to affect what become in future lives, if not in this one. Buddhists know that if they act kindly and wisely, they will eventually become enlightened and reach nirvana, a state of perfect peace and happiness. Another important core teaching is in Buddhism, as we find the greatest happiness in life when we dedicate ourselves to becoming loving and compassionate towards both ourselves and others. The Buddha called this love metta, or universal loving kindness. So how do Buddhists put all these teachings into practice? Generally, daily routine for a Buddhist involves some kind of meditation, with the aim of bringing more peace and harmony, not only into their own lives, but also into the lives of others. Monks and nuns, who in Eastern Buddhism have shaved heads and wear robes, may spend most of their day in meditation, whether in temples or in front of shrines, both of which usually contain one or more statues of the Buddha. Buddhists bow and make offerings to these figures, not as an act of worship, as say a Roman Catholic prays in front of a statue or a picture of Jesus, but because his image reminds them of their true potential. However, there are also many Buddhists in both the East and West for whom Buddhism is simply about having a certain attitude to life. And it is this peaceful, compassionate, loving, wise and selfless attitude to life that this book encourages you to develop in your children. I love you, LouLou.